Hello, my name is Emmett, and I'm here to talk about the similarities between the two musicals, A Funny Thing Happened on Our Way to the Forum, and Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Now, they are both by Stephen Sondheim, and Forum was written in 1963, or that's when it won a Tony at least, and Sweeney Todd won a Tony in 1979. Forum, for those of you who don't know, is about a slave named Pseudolus who lives in ancient Rome, and he is a slave, and his master hero wants to get with this girl named Philia, who is a courtesan, which is basically a fancy prostitute. And then hero tells Pseudolus that he'll give him his freedom if he gets with Philia. And so Pseudolus just starts telling all these lies to get this to go, and then it leads to him almost being killed like 3 times throughout the musical. And yeah, and then Sweeney Todd, aka Stephen Sondheim's emo phase, the musical, is about a dude named Sweeney Todd, big surprise, and his wife and daughter. Before the musical happens, before the main plot, they got kidnapped by this dude named Judge Turpin, who's played by Alan Rickman in the movie, who was like fucking Severus Snape, and it's like just kind of weird to watch a movie because of that. Also because that movie's emo as fuck. It's like they were trying to jack off Hot Topic with that shit. But yeah. Okay, so after his wife and daughter get kidnapped, Sweeney Todd got all emo and shit, and then he was like did some shit with this dude named Anthony. He was like all younger and shit, and then he returned to London and moved into his old home with this chick named Mrs. Lovett, who makes like meat pies and shit, and that comes into play later. Okay, now there are similarities between 2 main characters. Both Pseudolus and Sweeney Todd want their freedom. Pseudolus wants his freedom in the literal sense because he's a slave and all, and he wants to be free. There's a whole song about it. Can you see me? Can you see me as a Roman, one of great renown? Something, fuck. Yeah, but yeah, there's a song about that. Okay, yeah, so if you get the chance to listen to it, it's a really good musical. Listen to the song. It's about him wanting to be free, but yeah. And then Sweeney Todd wants freedom in the sense that he doesn't want to feel guilty about his wife and daughter getting kidnapped because he thinks his wife is dead pretty much. Then it turns out she's this crazy homeless lady and shit, but that's a spoiler, sorry. But yeah. And then both of them go through really, really extreme measures to get their freedom. Pseudolus just keeps fucking lying to everyone. He starts by like lying to Hysterium and stuff, who's like one of the other slaves, and he's a fucking crazy ass bitch, and he's probably gay, but that's something to discuss at a later time. Actually, no, I'm gonna discuss it now. Okay, so in the musical, Pseudolus tells Hysterium that he's gonna tell their masters, Senex and Domina, about his collection of erotic pottery. And now, Forum takes place in ancient Rome, okay? And in ancient Rome, all the erotic pottery was gay. And there's also the fact that Hysterium is really excited about cross-dressing when... I'm not gonna spoil that, but yeah. And then Pseudolus asks Hysterium where the contract is. And Hysterium says he gave it to a soldier who wants to meet him later tonight, and Hysterium's way too excited about that to be a heterosexual. So yeah, Hysterium's probably gay, except it's ancient Rome, and everyone was fucking gay back then, but yeah. Okay, where was I? Okay, so then in Sweeney Todd, he goes through the... Wait, no, in Forum, Pseudolus just keeps lying to everyone, and then the lies get so out of hand, and then ends up all just like blowing up in his face, and he almost dies. But yeah, he goes like really far to get the 2 together. And then in Sweeney Todd, he fucking tries to murder Judge Turpin at the beginning, but then Anthony walks in and he's like, "Hey, guess what? I'm in love with this chick who I don't even know." And Judge Turpin's like, that's my ward. And he like storms out before Sweeney can. But yeah, okay, so yeah, there's that. And then so then Sweeney is like, okay, I'll just like practice on people because killing people's fun. So he keeps slicing people's throats and pretending he's giving them haircuts. And you'd think people would like notice that people aren't coming back from their haircuts with Sweeney Todd. But they don't. They keep going to get haircuts from him, which is just... That's just not responsible on their part. But like, if I wanted to get my haircut, I wouldn't go to a weird fucking emo guy who went all crazy and shit. And people don't come back from that, you know? Like, that just doesn't make sense. I don't care how good his haircuts are. If I'm people aren't coming back from it, then why go? Because you know something's up there. But yeah, okay, so Sulis lies, and then Sweeney kills a bunch of people. And then in both of the musicals, the couples get together. Hero and Philia get together, and then Anthony and Johanna get together because it's musical theater, and their heterosexual couples must get together. Now, there's also similarities between the songs By the Sea from Sweeney Todd and Pretty Little Picture from Forum. And then in both of them, they're both like really fun, upbeat songs about like, so like this is like, by the sea, by the beautiful sea, sung by Mrs. Love. I can't go that high. It's like way too late anyways to go that high. Pretty picture. It's a pretty little picture to share. Pretty little picture, how true. But yeah, so listen to the songs if you aren't familiar, because yeah. And then both songs are about the people wanting to run away to get away from their problems. And then Mrs. Love wants like run away to Sweeney Todd because like they're murdering people and they don't want to get caught and like punished for it. Because it's okay to murder people as long as you don't want to take responsibility for it. Okay, so yeah. And so then she's singing about them running away together and getting married and shit because like she wants his dick but he doesn't want hers. But yeah, and then Pretty Little Picture is sung by Pseudolus to Hero and Philia because he's trying to convince them to run away and be together. And then he's like, he wants them to go to the harbor and get out a boat and yeah, and he wants them to do that. So he's singing about that and trying to sell the idea that they need to get away to the sea. And like in both of them, it's about going away to the sea because I guess Sondheim likes the ocean. I think Sondheim wants a boat, but like, he could probably buy one by this point because he's had like a shit ton of musicals, and there's still the rights and stuff going out, so like he probably makes plenty of money to buy a boat. But yeah, I'm not gonna worry about Stephen Sondheim's personal life right now. That's not what this is about. There's another parallel between the two musicals in terms of incest. Okay, now this is gonna be some super spoilers here. Okay, so yeah, here's some spoilers. In Forum, there's this Captain Milas Gloriosus who bought Philia, and is the reason that, like, Pseudolus is trying to convince Hero and Philia to run away, because Milas Gloriosus bought her for 500 minae, because she's a virgin and he's a man of conquest. And then at the end of the musical, near the end, they finally, like, Marcus Lycus, who was, like, the pimp, pretty much, he's like, Philia, go to your master, and then he like brings her over to Milas Gloriosus, and then he's like kisses her like that, and there's Erroneous. He's like this old dude who like has this running joke of just like walking across the stage and being like, first time around, second time around, and so on and so forth, because he thinks his house is haunted, because it's all really complicated. Forum is like a really complicated musical, honestly, plot-wise. So like if you're not familiar with it, you might want to like read up on a plot, at least like half the shit I'm saying actually makes sense. But yeah, and so yeah, they kiss, and then Erroneous, he like notices their rings with a gaggle of geese. And then they realize this committed incest, and like they're kind of grossed out. But then it's okay though, because Philia gets to be with Hero, and then Milas Gloriosus gets the Gemini, which are these two twins who are like really fucking like sexualized lesbians, pretty much. But yeah, and then in Sweeney Todd, Judge Durbin has Johanna as his ward, which like basically means he adopted her, which like makes him not technically related by blood. But like it's still fucked up that he wants to marry her in this. I probably should have mentioned that before. He wants to marry her, which is why like, okay, so fuck, I completely skipped over the part about them. Okay, anyways, so on. Okay, so the two couples in the shows are similar, and both of them, the guys like stare at the girls through a window and it's like, oh fuck, I'm in love, even though it's like really pretty much just like a boner or whatever that they get for these girls because they don't know these girls, and But no, apparently you can be in love just by looking at someone and not knowing anything about them, which is just stupid. I'm sorry, I don't believe in that love at first sight shit, sorry. But yeah, and then and then both these guys are willing to, like, do whatever they can to get the pussy from these girls, and then so like, Hero's like, oh, Silas, if you can get me this girl, I'll give you your freedom. And then Silas is like, oh shit, okay, man. And then Anthony tries to, like, break into Judge Turpin's house to get Joanna out, because he like keeps her locked in there. Judge Turpin does, and he keeps Joanna locked in the house. So Anthony tries to get her, and Judge Turpin, like, beats him up kinda, and then later when Sweeney's about to kill Turpin, then Anthony walks in and he's like, hey, Sweeney, dude, guess what? I met this girl, and by met, I mean I awkwardly stared at her through her window and shit. And then, yeah. Anyways, there's also the theme of old men desiring younger girls. Now, Forum is a type of musical called a farce, I believe. It's like a type of comedy that's, like, supposed to be really stupid and shit. And it has, like, a bunch of, like, cliches from Greek shows. And one of the cliches in Forum is a horny old man who doesn't get any from his wife. And in Forum, that is Cynics. And then, they were trying to hide Philia in Cynics' house while he and Domina, his wife, are gone. But then Cynics comes home. And he's like, who's this girl? Because they told Philia that the captain knocked on the door 3 times when he came, okay? And then Cynics does this, not realizing this, and then Philia comes down and she's like, take me! And then Pseudolus lies to Cynics and tells him that she's his new maid. Because everybody ought to have a maid. Okay, anyways. So yeah, that happens, and then... Fuck, what was I even fucking... I don't know what I was fucking talking about, honestly, but... Oh yeah, I was talking about Cynics, and then... So yeah, he's like a horny old man going after a younger girl. And then Sweeney Todd, there's like Judge Turpin and Johanna. And yeah. And that is pretty much all the similarities so far. I hope you enjoy this. So yeah. It's like 5 a.m. I don't know why I'm still awake and I'm talking all weird, but I had to just get this all out, and you know. Okay, goodbye.